lower. Hopefully we'll hear some more of that. I just want to say that the purpose of this meeting is to provide an opportunity for people to voice their concerns and experiences and ask questions regarding the county's marijuana enforcement methods, impacts, and especially with the recent National Guard involvement of low-flying helicopter complaints. And we ask that everyone be respectful, no personal attacks. We're here to give feedback, voice concerns and suggestions, and to listen to the responses. So we'll start with our first speaker. And to compete broadcast live on cable.
Okay. So let me just bend that down a little bit. There we go. So thanks for coming and listening. It might not be totally pleasant for you all. I'd like to talk about two things that have reminded us, and reminded me certainly, of the bad old days with the campaign against marijuana planting. And one is the helicopter, as you know. That National Guard helicopter is extra special loud. It's so loud that you hear it, you run out on the porch, what the hell is that? Okay? And furthermore, it was extra special low. I live at 1,500 feet. And that helicopter was going around and around and on and on. I only caught sight of it once. So it was considered, and we're at about 500 feet above sea level there, the ground over by the river. So it was flying pretty low most of that time. When that happens, it shows us that the operators, or whoever it is, have an obvious disregard or contempt for us. Our population, we know that you would not be flying your helicopter like that over the outskirts of Fortuna or Eureka. The second thing I want to say is about the destructiveness that came with the campaign against marijuana planting. There was a picture on the front page of the July 2nd Independent showing a greenhouse that had its plastic slashed by the marijuana raiders who went out there to take care of things. Made me remember a friend's place back in China Creek in the late 80s. Camp raiders had been there the day before, and they stole some small valuables. They defaced some personal photographs, and then they went and kicked in the glass out of all the windows that the person had just had custom made for the house they were building. I used to watch those guys take off from Eureka in the morning from the county building. It was a big dress-up opportunity for them, wearing their Australian bush hats and stuff, come to kick us around. We don't want that again. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't want that again either. Thank you.
We'd like the next couple of speakers to come up so we won't have to wait.
Hello everybody, thanks for coming. My name's Justin. I think I've spoken with everybody at least once, emailed, phone, called, etc. I unfortunately actually was around in the early 80s also. And I think I got a call from my landlord and said there's a bunch of trucks coming out on the road to your neighborhood. So she suggested that I tell everybody to scramble out of there. Anybody I could call or knew. And so I drove to another property where it was a high knoll, ridgetop. And unfortunately, that was exactly where they were going. It was kind of crazy. All day long, 7:30 in the morning until 7 at night, 12 hours. I think it was probably the largest haul in 1983 by the camp. And from my vantage point, they lowered the helicopter down. They were sitting on the deck of the open door Huey with an M16, sitting there, scanning the hillside. And I was like, I was trapped for 12 hours on this neighbor's property. And they went after a group that known as the Washingtonians back then. They got 11,000 pounds off of that property. So that was still traumatic. I had nightmares from that, literally. And the other day, from my property here, I saw that black helicopter fly in. I'm at 1,500-foot elevation. I saw the helicopter fly right through the center of my property, up the SMA, Stream Management Area. Below my vantage point, my property is from about maybe 1,100 to 1,700 feet. So they flew right through the center of the lower part of my property, below my eye level. They came over the ridge, probably from Piercy, dropped into the valley, headed straight up the canyon, and went to wherever else they bothered, Ionis or something. So that was kind of traumatic. Again, I thought, they're doing this again. This is crazy. So, but the main reason I came today was to see if there's some way to speed up the permit process for those that aren't complete. Because every step of the way, there's another bill, another study, another culvert, another environmental consultant that has to be paid. And I have a unique property where it's the center of an area where there's multiple roads going through my property that are easements to other neighbors. So there's a lot of culverts. And I literally can't fix all those culverts. I don't have the money. So, I mean, I'm not a big grower. I've had more properties than I've ever had plants. So, not just here, Bay Area, Eureka, Arcata. I was a landlord and a construction guy, back in the 70s. I'm fortunate to be, still alive right now. But right now, I can't make any money off this property. I can't rent it because everybody wants to grow. And it's hard to get the permit. I want to go legal because then maybe I could get some tenants again. Maybe I could get people that will take care of the property. Because as you know, for a number of years, it was difficult. I was raising my family in the Bay Area. And the tenants were, pay rent by the month. But then I find that they've got a little farm on down the logging road, at the end of the road. So the other issue with the building and planning department, the grading issue, when I got letters from, actually from the state of California, Water Board and the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and then it triggered some code enforcement. I got a letter about grading that was occurring. Written. Grading is occurring on your property. So what? What grading is occurring? Well, they sent me another letter that said grading has occurred on your property. Okay, that's a good correction, thank you. Then I got the third letter, and they said, well, now you have to correct the grading violation. Well, what grading violation? Within the streamside management area. First of all, the streamside management area goes up the center of my property, where that helicopter flew the other day. There is no grading, maybe some logging roads, maybe some log decks, from a long time ago. So, but I think it was Patrick at the planning and building came out to inspect the property, and instead of going to the SMA, where the violation had supposedly occurred or was occurring, he came to another portion of the property where one of my tenants had dug a pond. And I'm looking for that large graded flat where you're going to put all these like greenhouse tunnels. I'm like, what graded flat? And so we went to the pond, which was an area well above, out of the streamside management area, well above any spring. And so what do? You have to correct this. You have to go get an application for a permit to permit that pond. Fish and Wildlife said it was on the stream. It's like, there's no stream. So it got very complicated. I've been in this process for a while. It's very difficult, too many culverts. The Department of Fish and Wildlife is not that easy to deal with. They seem to want to trump the Water Rights Division. I have a non-jurisdictional spring that is out of the jurisdiction of the Department of Fish and Wildlife. Yet Department of Fish and Wildlife says, no, we have full control over your water. I got a letter from the head of the Water Rights Division, state of California, saying that I have a non-jurisdictional spring, and they can trump Department of Fish and Wildlife. Fish and Wildlife, we don't care. You're still going to have to either remove that pond on the stream, which it isn't on the stream. So and that triggered another consultant that I had to hire. I had to hire a geologist. I've had to, just countless thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm on credit cards right now. I don't have the money to keep paying for this. It's been over 3 years. It seems like there's got to be some way you can make this process easier so that people can permit their property, so that the Department of Fish and Wildlife and the Water Board will listen and be reasonable. And I don't know, what do you have to say to all that? It's difficult, very difficult process.
It's Justin, right? Thanks, Justin. I think I'm going to give
Justin
you
Baldwin, by the way.
Thank you. I'm going to give you a kind of general answer and then a specific answer applicable to you. Is that one of the process is difficult. I'm not going to try to say that it's not, especially for many people who have never had to deal with a governmental process before. It is completely foreign. So I get that.
I've dealt with lots of governmental, this is the difficult. I've permitted lots of buildings, won lots of lawsuits against cities. For example, last month I won a lawsuit against the city of Oakland. They destroyed a historical stone staircase, 100-year-old stone case, for a developer, so that they could put in ADA, handrails, steps, and they wanted to cover. The judge ordered them to stop. And the city of Oakland ended up having to pay over $300,000 to our attorneys. I mean, that's a waste of public resources. But yeah, I've had lots of experience with agencies, et cetera, et cetera.
So then the thing that I would say is that we try to be very clear in our communications and give direction in terms of missing information. The thing that the most effective thing I can encourage people to do is become their planner's best friend. And
one more comment on that. I know you opened up the satellite office here in Redway. I went in there the day they opened. I went in there the next day. Monday, Wednesday. I went for 2 weeks. Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday. They kept telling me, you can't deal with us directly. You have to deal with your planner in Eureka.
well, that's the wrong message. I mean, I do want names. I want to know who said that, because one of the things that
There's a different person there. They rotate.
I understand that, but one of the things I will tell the entire crowd that we're trying to do is that we can't have the entire department in Redway. So when our staff goes down to Redway, they're just going to have to deal with difficult and unfortunate circumstances and work through it with the person that's sitting across the desk from you.
I have a comment on that also. In terms of, they used to have the, what is it, on-track portal, where it's supposedly...
On track is dead.
Okay, then it went to Excella.
Correct.
I couldn't log in for 6 months. There was no data on the Excella program. I'm pretty sophisticated with the computer. I had a laptop in 1982. I was doing machine language programming. So I'm pretty techie. I couldn't get, the county is behind. When I submitted my site plan, it was on a version of CAD-CAM that my daughter, who's a landscape architect in San Francisco, they had to upgrade the program, apparently, because they couldn't read the file, or maybe they downloaded something instead of a PDF, and they said it's too blurry. I'm like, gosh, you have a current version of CAD, you can blow this thing up to see, the dots on the dot. But so I don't know if Humboldt County is that far behind, but I'm hoping you guys are catching up.
Part of Excella is we are catching up. We're getting out of the 1980s, or at least into the 1990s now. We plan on going into the 21st century soon. Okay? It is a process. It is difficult. And it's very difficult to deal with 2,300 unique circumstances at the same time. And so I appreciate your patience in trying to do that. That's where the planners have all been assigned, to work with individual file. What I would ask you to do, if you can, I am going to be in Redway tomorrow. I will be at the Redway office. If you will email me your...
I have emailed you, I think I emailed Estelle just last week, and she forwarded the email to you. I'm still waiting on a response.
I will have, okay, I will find it. I will have your file in Redway with me tomorrow, and we can work through everything.
I'll be there.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
By the way, we are going to have an open house tomorrow at the planning and building. It'll go all day as far as people being able to drop in, but we'll have a ribbon cutting at 10 a.m. This is pretty historic. It's the first time we've had a planning building down here in southern Humboldt, and it is for these very kind of situations where people can go in. And as Director Ford said, he will be here for a good part of the day. I encourage people to drop by and talk with him and also get to know the whole thing. But part of the reason that they can do it now and provide the kind of services that they haven't been able to do in the past is that it's as if you were in Eureka in terms of access to the records and all of that, because everything's computerized. So I really hope people will take advantage of that.
Could I get Dottie and Mark up here to come up and speak after Tom?